Bucks win it tonight, 144-122 over the Brooklyn Nets. Come on in the room. Adrian is our doctor. He writes out all of our scriptures. He gives us all of our medicine in our room. We are live at the Cream City Crossovers, a 144-122 win. Bucks beating the Brooklyn Nets. It's the guru, Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Yes, sir. Back at it yet again. Listen, man, been going for a minute. We'll talk about that in a second. But tonight the Bucks get a win. They get a win after losing on Christmas Day. We'll get into some of that as well. But a 144-122 win tonight over the Brooklyn Nets. As you're coming on in the room at TCIIIESQ. If you want to give me some post-game thoughts, we already got some coming. We'll get some more. We'll read those on the air. And then as well in the YouTube chat, we'll get to your thoughts as well there. But come on in the room, 144-122. Let's get a reset here. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 32 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. Khris Middleton, not to be outdone, with 27 and 10 assists in 31 minutes, John Tyus. I believe that is a season high for him in minutes. 31 minutes, 41 seconds. I think it might be a season high for him. Brook Lopez was not good tonight. 2.6 rebounds, 2 assists in 24 minutes. Your boy, Malik Beasley, put up 17 points and then 12 points from Damian Lillard, who also was not good tonight. He was 4 of 10 from the field. Bobby Portis had 14 points in 30 minutes. Marjan Beauchamp with 11, 5, and 2. And then Cameron Payne, 18, 6, and 4. He had a good game tonight, 5 for 8 from 3. The Brooklyn Nets, who in my opinion were just a disgusting display what they put on tonight related to resting players. You play Mikal Bridges 12 minutes. You play Cam Thomas 11:55, 8.6 points respectfully, and then you take those guys out and they don't come back. Again, that's a mockery to the game. I know Mikal Bridges has a like an Iron Man streak going as far as games that he hasn't missed. But this to me isn't the way to do that when you're the Brooklyn Nets by playing him out there for 12 minutes and then putting him and then not playing him after the first quarter. I think that kind of stuff is whack. But that's just me personally. And then, like I said, Cam Thomas did the same thing. If you're not going to play, don't play. If you're going to play, play. So I didn't respect anything the Brooklyn Nets organization did there as far as that goes. Day'Ron Sharp, 12 points, 4 boards, 4 assists. Harry Giles got out there on the floor. A bunch of guys that Dennis Smith Jr., I know him. A bunch of guys who, quite frankly, I didn't know some of these guys. All right, I'm be honest with you. They just had some guys out there running
bunch
around.
Of Jags out there.
Bunch of Jags. Yeah, a bunch of Jags, man, were out there running around. But they were competitive. They put up a good fight. And I said this throughout the night. You know, when the Bucks made the decision and finally decided to stop playing with their food, they did what they were supposed to do. You know, that's what I was looking for. Go out there, don't play around, don't play with your food. Once you play with the food, but once you get done playing with it, go out there and finish the game. And so the Bucks do get a 22-point win. It got dicey around there. I think the Nets grabbed the lead in the third quarter. But outside of that, again, you had a great night from Khris Middleton, who was on point, had a couple early turnovers that were bad. I'll say this before I get your thoughts, John Tyus. Khris Middleton and Giannis, I said this during the game, look like two guys that had played together for a long time. And again, they have. They played together, and somebody came in and said, hey, they played together for a decade. And that's what they look like tonight. I counted at least 3 alley-oops where, they're just throwing the ball at the basket, and Giannis goes and gets it. He had one on Christmas Day as well. So they their cohesion was great, how they played together. They played off of each other. Khris Middleton, we got to ask the question, is he back? Is Khris Middleton back? That's a valid question I think we need to ask and get answered. And then, I will say the defensive effort from the Bucks lacked for a while, for some stretches in this basketball game. First quarter, even the second quarter, until Dr. Griffin put the Milwaukee Bucks into a 2-3 zone. They took control of the basketball game at that point. Thought they were going to run away with it. And in the third, Brooklyn got some shots to go down. You look, another key to the game tonight, the bench points, which has always been a key, or the bench plus minus, Bobby Portis is a plus 20. Pat Connaughton is a plus 14. Marjan a plus 21. Campaign a plus 24. And then you look at the 3-point percentages. The Bucks were 23 of 51. That's 45%. That's great. Brooklyn was 7 for 32. You're just going to be hard-pressed to win games if you're a Brooklyn Nets team when the Milwaukee Bucks are hitting 23 threes and you're hitting 7. It's just tough to do. The numbers don't add up. So the Bucks win at 144-122. John Tyus, what'd you see?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know what? So let me walk this back, right? Because a couple of weeks ago we talked about this with Khris Middleton, and we was but listen, Khris Middleton was balling tonight, right? Even had 9 points in the fourth quarter alone. Khris Middleton brought it tonight. You got to 100% give it to him. I saw people having a little discourse about the turnovers. Who the hell cares about turnovers when you balling like this? When you balling like this, hey, and after looking at this, I'll tell you, if Khris Middleton is at full strength, I think our 4 is stronger than Denver's 4. 100% if Khris Middleton's at full strength. But talk about a couple things, right? I love the fact that tonight we got 54 points off the bench. Wow, right? I mean, 54 points off the bench. That's unbelievable. That's more than we've had like 3-game stretches this year. So, absolutely love the bench points. A couple of anomalies here. One, Brooklyn only made 1 3-pointer in the first half. My goodness, that's enough to make a coach's head explode, right? Brooklyn made 1 3-pointer, which is absolutely pitiful, right? So shout out to the Bucks for the perimeter D. I don't know if Brooklyn had butter on those rims or what, but it just was not happening for them. A couple of other things I want to take a look at too. Malik Beasley 5 for 8 from 3. Love to see it. When he's on, I mean, he literally, when he gets hot, there's very few guys in the league that are better than him at shooting the 3. So you 100% got to give respect there. Campaign, man. Campaign coming off the bench. I mean, this is a night where you see the Bucks firepower. You see the Bucks offensive firepower. And here's what's wild, right? I'm looking at the stats. You realize, so the Bucks made 23, like you said, 23 3-pointers. The Nets made 7, right? So, like 3 times as many, right, roughly. But what's wild is you realize that the Bucks won tonight by 22 points. They got out-rebounded, 41-47. Yeah. And then the points in the paint, they got crushed in the points in the paint, but it didn't matter because we was hitting so many threes. Brooklyn had 70, the Bucks had 48. I mean, wow, right? When you see a win of this significance, you're seeing dominance in just about all of these categories, especially scoring wise. But tonight, I mean, the Bucks just showed you a different way to get it done. And man, salute to Dr. Griffin. Keep telling the Bucks to basically keep their foot on the gas pedal and foot's on the necks of the Nets. And I feel great about this win, especially after the clunker on Christmas Day.
So you feel great about it. Kyle and Racine does not. He said Bucks won by 22, but it looked like they had to try way harder than they should have had to against a terrible team. Kyle, I actually pushed back against that. I don't think that the Bucks tried hard. To me, they look like they sleptwalked through most of the games. When you say they tried hard, I think I guess what I'm hearing or what I'm thinking about when you say that is that they didn't take over until late. But I mean, you look at it, they had 44 points in the fourth quarter. Look, the Bucks totals 32 in the first, 34 in the second, 34 in the third, 44 in the fourth. Like I said, you basically put up 150 points. I mean, are you really, when you say they tried way harder, I didn't see that. I'm looking at the minutes played. A lot of times, and even against bad teams, we've seen the Milwaukee Bucks have to put in an effort of 35, 36 minutes for starters. Dame Lillard doesn't cross the 30-minute threshold. Giannis goes exactly 30 minutes. Brook Lopez goes 24. I think some of that was because he wasn't playing well. Khris Middleton played the most minutes of any Milwaukee Buck, which, again, in a way, I think, that's a good thing. As I see that, 32 minutes basically for Khris Middleton. Bobby Portis goes 30 minutes. So Khris Middleton and Bobby Portis were your 2 highest minute totals for the Milwaukee Bucks. So I don't know, when you say they tried hard, I disagree with that. I don't think they tried very hard at all. I thought they were very lackadaisical through a lot of stretches of this basketball game. Damian Lillard looked terrible. I know he finished, he took 10 shots tonight. Dame, 9 of them were 3-pointers. So Dame wasn't interested in driving the basketball. He wasn't interested in getting to the paint. He wasn't, I'm trying not to to make bad of a game or to talk about guys, but I saw consistent effort from number 34, Giannis. I saw Khris Middleton look like he's playing well. And again, for people, when we talk about Khris Middleton's back, Offensively, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. When we talk about Khris Middleton being back,
You know, I'm the wrong person to ask on this
well,
because you know you're gonna talk about Khris Middleton being a cone, and you know how I feel about defense. You know
yeah,
how I
no,
feel about defense.
yes, but I'm looking. Okay, again, I could name you these guys from the Brooklyn Nets who played tonight, and they put up 122 points. So, and again, and I get that the Bucks put up 144, and that's a great thing. What'd you say? The best defense is another made three. I hear
It is.
you when you say
I'm
that.
trying to tell you. Like,
But
listen,
but I'm asking. But every team is not going to give up 5 3-pointers to Cameron Payne. Every
true.
team is not going to let Khris Middleton do, just shoot at will and do whatever he felt like doing. I guess my thought process or my question is, even at Khris Middleton, the guys from Brooklyn aren't good. Like Watford shouldn't be put up 17 points, and you got 21 and 10 from this guy from Wilson tonight, from Jalen Wilson, right? Who's averaging 2 points on the season, a second round pick, the 51st pick in the draft last year. So I guess that's what I'm asking is you're giving up 20 and 10 to guys like that. The guys you're gonna play on better teams are gonna have more skill. You're gonna be more talented. They're gonna be much better. And maybe if I sound like I'm playing devil's advocate, maybe I am. But I'm just asking you, when you see those point totals, when you see the defense and the way it's played, and I ask, as a group in some sense, but then also for Khris Middleton, is he back offensively? He looks like it, and I can go with you there. Is he going to be back to when he? There was a time when Khris Middleton was I don't know if I say elite defender, but he was. If I was to give a grade, he was B plus, teetering on A minus. Years have gone by where you can say, oh, he's an above average defender, and in the average, he still looks like below average from a defender standpoint. So when we say he's back, I guess is my question. What exactly are we talking about?
I'm talking about the offensive threat.
Okay.
Listen, because here's the thing. I don't think any of us are going to argue that Khris Middleton was an elite defender. I would argue he was a longer defender, right? He was a longer body on the perimeter, and he wasn't, a couple years ago, he wasn't getting completely cooked all the time, right? Like you said, he wasn't a cone, right? Now look, them ankles, the knees, they look stiff. I can't deny that, right? But when we talk about Khris Middleton is back, I'm talking about the offensive shooter, right? I'm talking about the all-star caliber shooter that can get buckets, because people forget. Obviously, Giannis has been a superstar, but Khris Middleton was a guy who he was the get a bucket guy. That's kind of what he did, what he's done as a sidekick throughout his career with Giannis. So when I say he's back, I'm talking about that guy, the get a bucket Khris.
Okay, so you're saying to get a bucket Khris is back. You're content with saying the defense is not there.
Well, hang on though, but hang on. There was a stat over the 7-game win streak. Over the last 7 games. The Bucks' defensive rating has been 4th. Is that right? It's been like top 5. It's been a top 10 defense over the last 7 games.
Yeah, over the past, and I'm not sure if what the exact stat was. Yes, they have been good, but you look and you saw what they did on Christmas Day when Jalen Brunson abused them, and they couldn't get the buckets when they needed them. And then you see tonight where a Brooklyn Nets team just kind of. Again, I watched Brook Lopez, and again, I'm trying to be pie. I'm trying. Let me start. I'll take the win. You beat the Brooklyn, you should beat the Brooklyn Nets when, as Q chimes in here on the YouTube, says, what are the Nets doing not playing their starters? 4 or 5 Nets played 16 minutes or less. So when that takes place, you should win by 20 points. So I'm gonna give the Bucks some credit for doing what they were supposed to do, right? Because that's what should happen. But the question from Q, how can we be proud about this win? They had 6 top players out and benched their starters after the first half. So, I guess that's what I can't. When you say how can you be proud about the win, I'm proud of it. I'm not upset. I've seen games where the Bucks against inferior talent and it's gone down to the wire, right? Like we've seen that as well. That's not what, so I'm proud about the win. The Bucks should go out and win by 20, and they did. The question is how they went about that at certain times, and I think there's a question of are the Bucks just playing with food? Because it seemed a bit like that, or is this really them? Are they not able to lock in at certain times point again? Like, what is it? What is it? Because I think if you're looking at this from a fan perspective, outside looking in, and I think Colin Racine kind of tried to sum it up when he said that I disagree with saying the Bucks tried too hard, but it seemed like you could have gotten your work done earlier, where this
I'll
game
give
was
you that.
still going into the fourth quarter. You look at some teams, certain teams, maybe a Boston or a Philly, and you think, these guys would have that thing under control well into the, by the second half, this has been a no-brainer. Where Brooklyn was fighting for long stretches there.
But you gotta. But here's the thing, though, right? Like for the most part, this is what the Bucks have done, right? It's had for the most part of the season, the Bucks have had a strong fourth, right? So when you look at the numbers and you see it, like, yeah, they really stepped on the gas. And I mean, they kind of been doing what they've been doing. I get the fact that the Nets had 6 starters out, but I mean, guys, I'm sorry, it was 3 starters out. I think that's right, right? Are they rested 3 starters?
Well,
Either way, whoever,
rested
yeah, they rested
starters,
3.
and then
Yeah,
they only played Cam Thomas. Well, Cam Thomas isn't a true starter, but
yeah.
Mikal Bridges played 12 minutes, like
Yeah, I
for
mean,
whatever
yeah,
reason.
right. So like the quasi arrested, Mikal
Right.
Bridges. But either way, I mean, I'm still not concerned about this just because like when it was go time, hey, they stepped on the gas and that fourth quarter was beautiful. Like they put up buckets. Like guys, listen, what I don't want to do and what I hope Bucks fans don't do, right, is you end up being too critical of a team where you can't see the forest through the trees, right? Like you're literally looking at you're literally focusing. You're not keeping the main. What Deion say? You're not keeping the main thing, right? Like listen, guys. Like I don't give a damn about the Nets. I care about how we look, right? Like we all know the Nets ain't gonna be in the damn playoffs. We're not worried about them.
Right.
What we're worried about is how do we click, right? When it's go time, how are we getting in sync? What are we doing? Who's getting buckets? Who's stepping up? Who's doing whatever? And I mean, I'm gonna take tonight and I'm gonna say, hey, we could have put this game away earlier. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
We didn't, but you know what? We kept that foot on that neck in that fourth. I mean, probably took us 43, 44 minutes, but listen, we kept coming at you, and that's how it goes sometimes. It's the NBA, man. Like it's the NBA. What do the fans want us to be up by 30 halfway through the third quarter?
Well, that's true.
Giannis playing with his kids on the bench. Is that what the fans wanted tonight?
That's what people
they
wanted
that. They wanted
yes.
that, right? Giannis needed to be playing with his kids on the bench. Bobby needed to be had a headband action, doing his Jordan pool and just looking around to see what's out there. You know what I mean? Like that's what y'all wanted to see. Y'all wanted to see Marjon get 30 minutes tonight, playing the entire fourth.
I get some of that. People want to see that. But again, the Bucks win 144, Nets 122. Or like I said, over the Brooklyn Nets. Robert Henry says, "Good game, been missing y'all fellas." Eli J says, "Missed you guys. A little concerned the Bucks took so long to put away Brooklyn's second team, but any win on the road is better than a loss." That's absolutely true. So let's talk about we have been gone for a little bit of time here. That was our Christmas break, if you will, and now we're back to spend the rest of the season with you. So it was it's interesting watching the Bucks go through some of the stretch. I do want to take a second to go over what happened. I think so. The last game we did, John Tyus, was I believe that Rockets game where they beat the Rockets 128-119, and then they beat the Spurs without while we were gone. They beat the Spurs without Wembanyama. And then they beat. I was at the Orlando Magic game, which ended up being a 4-point game, 118-114. But that one the Bucks kind of had in hand for most of that game. And then of course the Bucks beat down the Knicks a couple days before Christmas, and then they lost the Knicks on Christmas Day, which of course kind of like the worst case scenario from a national perspective because people, that was the game of course everybody saw, and they see you see Jalen Brunson do his thing. I think he had 38 and 6. Saw Julius Randle put up 24, RJ Barrett put up 21, and the Bucks just weren't able to get out of their own way. Excuse me, Khris Middleton did play 33 minutes that game, so he has eclipsed the 30+ minute mark a couple times now this season. Just wanted to correct myself there, but it feels good to be back. We're back in the saddle. John, I guess over those few games that you missed, that we missed and didn't do a show, what have you seen from the Bucks? Do you have from a faith perspective, how much faith do you put, or do you have in the Bucks right now? They're sitting, I think, at 23-8 over the last, couple weeks before Christmas and through the Christmas break.
Oh, my faith is not wavering, brother. Let me just let you guys know. My faith, hang on, where the paper? I got a paper around me so I can wave it. That fan, right, man. Listen, my faith is not wavering at this point. Yes, there are things we need to clean up. I can't deny that. And this defensive thing still, for the most part, looks like it is a work in progress. But listen, I mean, out of your last 3 games, you had a strong win. What over the Knicks on Friday? And
Yeah.
let me just back up on this. Sorry, on Saturday. Guys, we beat the Knicks like 9 times in a row. You're gonna take an L at some point. Like, we beat them 9 times in a row. You're going to take an L. It's not the end of the world, right? And at the end of the day, the Christmas Day game counts as much as the game does the day before Christmas. I mean, guys, like, listen, like, I don't like the sky is falling. All of these perspectives that we tend to have on Bucks Twitter from time to time, where you just have. It's like this anxiety where people just won't admit that this team is good, right? People are nervous that you have a first-year coach and a team that's performing at 23-8. I mean, look, I think that's probably right at expectations, right? And now I get some of y'all want 20-point win. We need 15, 20-point blowouts. We got Golden State,
points,
right. We got 2015 Golden State or whatever year that was when it was going crazy. But guys, listen, I told y'all, man, take the gritty with the pretty. Pretty with the gritty. Come on now. Like, look, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But I feel good about it for the most part. What I will say is this, right? Because I am slow to be this guy, right? Because I don't want to be this guy. What? I'm not concerned about Damian, but dang, man, sometimes I just feel like. Again, we talk about the Batman and Superman, right? And sometimes I just feel like Dame doesn't really clock in the way I would expect him to.
Hey, you preaching to the choir. I don't know what it is. Like, again, tonight, you take 10 shots and 9 of them are threes. Like, you don't even attempt to get to the basket. You didn't attempt to do anything else. You're not playing defense. Guys are running by. I mean, Dame was just out there tonight. Like somebody said it, he looked like he was in a rec league. Like he was at rec league tonight. Like he was just out there. I'm a Jackson threes up.
It's the LA Fitness. The LA Fitness run. Getting a run out there at LA Fitness. I'm gonna play from 3-point line to 3-point line. I'm gonna shoot probably, not great shots. Okay shots. I'm gonna shoot a couple shots where it's
good shots because you're Damian Lillard and we expect every three you take to go in. Anybody else does, it's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, what do you?
It's like the Patrick Ewing gift. It's like the Patrick. It's like, did you practice that shot? Who told you to shoot that shot?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. I'm with that. And so Dame sometimes, I don't know. And it's crazy to me because a lot of times you see teams take on we talk about taking on the identity of your leader, right? And Giannis being the leader of that team. And you watch Giannis, and he's going coast to coast, flying up and down. I mean, you see, he's jumping out the gym to reach these to alley-oop dunks. He's flying. He had a block tonight where his arm is up, above the square, the square on the backboard. He's giving maximum effort, and everybody else around him is just like, no matter. I don't know how, as another superstar, and you're Damian Lillard. One of the things that these guys talked about when Damian Lillard got to Milwaukee was, when you because again he was in Portland by himself. He looks at he said when he first got to Milwaukee and training camp whatever, and it was like, oh yeah, I have this belief that like I gotta play harder because I know I got another star with me, and he holds me accountable, I hold him accountable, and like it's just crazy to me when it's like you're watching a guy bust his butt up and down the court, and you don't join him to do that. Like you're content with, I'll just shoot a couple shots, run back, put my hands up, swing about me, lay defense. Like I just don't understand some of that when your best player works his tail off. And again, the Brooklyn Nets they outworked the Bucks tonight. Bucks just have more talent, more skill, but they 100% outworked the Bucks. So I think again that's just to me just kind of stuff that I watch and I go, it's interesting, and especially when you're not hitting the shots. So it's like you're giving minimal effort and you're also missing jumpers. what is your value? And I thought tonight Damian Lillard was just a poor job overall from him. I know his fans come in and they're like, well, it's everybody else's fault that they aren't adjusted to Damian Lillard. And I go, no, man. Everybody else finds ways to get shots up. Malik Bridges is hitting threes. Got Campaign coming up. He's shooting threes too. He's knocking them down. Dame's the one that's not doing it. And so, again, this team is Khris playing like he played tonight. Giannis playing like he played tonight. Damian Lillard's got to find where they fit in. And again, when all three of those guys start rolling, it should be a scary sight to see.
Well, and one thing I will say is, and I'm not sure if we're just so used to Giannis doing this, and that's why it's not what you would call like the infectious energy, right? Where you're seeing
but
guys.
But Dame shouldn't be used to Giannis doing it. He just got here.
I mean, I feel that, right? But now, one thing I will say that is interesting is that I've seen a lot of times Andre Jackson Jr. get that infectious energy in there too, right? So is it just guys are so used to Giannis just being Giannis, like, oh, he always doing that, right? Like he always balling like that, so they don't get fired up about it. But when the rook comes in, like they do. I don't know.
See, Andre ain't got no money, so I see why Andre get fired.
And that might be on coach. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. There are nights where it feels like Damian Lillard, somebody had a stat of games where Damian Lillard had scored like less than 10 points or something, or was it less than like 12 or whatever in his career. And he's already had a few of those in Milwaukee. It's just like, and he's a superstar. I mean, Dame is a legitimate superstar, but there have been, don't get me wrong, we've had much more incredible moments from Dame. Sure. Dame time, right? We tapped the watch and that battery got some juice in the fourth quarter most of the time. But there have just been some nights where it looks like, and I don't know what it is. It's the pregame meal, right? Like, Giannis eating Whole Foods, he eating Metro Market. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Metro Market, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is, right? Giannis got the Carson steak. My man's eating Applebee's. I just don't know. Like, it feels like sometimes Dame is collecting a check, and them coworkers you got that are collecting the check. And they just are literally they are there, but they not there, and it just seems like that. Side note, I don't want to go on a tangent, but I definitely got my out of office alert on at work, and I am 100% in the office. Right. I'm just saying, like, listen, I just had to throw that out there, like, oh yeah, you get my out of office alert until January.
So you
right.
checked out till January. Maybe that's maybe Dame is checked out too. That's what it looks like.
Listen, my light on Teams is green too. You can see, he available? Wait, he got the out of office. What is this? Yep, I sure do.
I don't blame you. Titonia World jumping in. And saying that guys had to lay back for the Khris Middleton use. There's a lot of Khris Middleton hate from Titonia World. You know how he is. He said that Khris bringing the ball up and getting any touch and all those shots against scrubs is not a playoff simulation. I guess, but again, Khris has got to work himself back into that mode. He has a very old man game, play like at the Y. But again, I'll say it. I'd rather see Khris hitting shots than not hitting shots, and he's doing it. So again, he cut back on the turnovers, and we'll be all right. Let's get to some of the Twitter comments as well. At Rated R Noop 414, Justin from NC says the Bucks did what they were supposed to do tonight. Let's continue to grow, but more importantly, I'm thankful for Senator Cole that we can still call them the Milwaukee Bucks. Truly a sad day for the 414, the state of Wisconsin, and the USA. We'll get back to Senator Cole in a second. At He Manson says AJ Green's on-ball defense is so bad. It's obviously the reason he doesn't get more minutes. I didn't really pay attention to how bad it was until tonight, but wow, he gets handled pretty easily. I agree with that. I saw when he got into the game, and he had a couple threes, I think, late, but when he got into the game, seeing the Brooklyn Nets kind of targeted him a few times. He picked up the foul, and then they were able to get, they were just able to get to him. And
listen,
well, go ahead.
Leave Derry Bird alone. You know what Derry Bird's job is? Derry Bird is the ultimate LA Fitness ball player. Hit your three. I'm gonna kick it to you. Your job is to knock that thing down.
But that's the thing, JT.
That's all we need from you.
That works. I hear you, but that works when you had the team that we had years past, where you got a bunch of defenders all over the floor to kind of make up for everything. But when you're playing with, a Khris Middleton on one side and Malik Beasley and Dame and guys, everybody's just running by people. And it's like, you're going to have to, you have to hit threes to keep up. But it doesn't, this team needs Jay Crowder back in a bad way, and I think you just see so many guys running by guys. John Horst is going to have to make a move and get something done to help out this perimeter defense. It just has to happen. At XT John says Cash has been great recently. Bucky Backer 09 says dunk game strong, alley-oop game strong, plus 16 threes, very impressive. 41 assists, fantastic. Amazing how the assists pile on when shots are made. Khris stays this Khris, and bench hit shots unbeatable in the series. Bucks coasted, then hit another gear and embarrassed the Nets. And then at Drew Barron just said Khris is back. So, yeah, I think a lot of people were impressed with Khris Middleton, 100%. I was as well. And then, you look at it and, I think there were some efforts that were not so good for some guys. But, again, the talent was just a little bit took it over the top.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I can't say we played a perfect game. I'm not saying that at all. No, I'm just saying that on December 27th, I like what I for the most part, I like what I saw. We'll clean some things up. But, hey, guys, I told y'all, the pretty with the gritty. And that's so important from December through March. Like, that's so important because there's so many games. So, man, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
Yeah, no, the Bucks should be all right. And again, we'll get back to that question of will the Bucks be all right, because it's one of the things where we talk about, and it's October. Okay, that'd be funny. It's in October, November. Okay, yeah, man, it's early, and then it gets to December, and you're still, again, not to say you're struggling. It's hard to say you're struggling when you're 23-8. Like, it's very hard. But I see what some people talk about when they don't have the faith in the Bucks that they may have in other teams, because you want to see crisp basketball, and you want to see all of your guys that you're gonna have to depend on late into the season, into the play. You want to see those guys performing at maximum levels, and you just haven't seen that all at once for long periods of time. Let's get into it. Former Bucks owner and U.S. Senator Herb Kohl dies at 88. Rest in peace. Herb Kohl is a former Democratic U.S. Senator from Wisconsin and former owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. His death Wednesday was announced by Herb Kohl, but Herb Kohl Group, which did not give no cause of death, but said he died after a brief illness. Popular figure, obviously, in Wisconsin, purchased the Bucks in 1985, John Tice, for $18 million to keep them from leaving town, and spending generously from his fortune on civic and educational causes throughout the state. Senator Kohl was a dear friend and one of our very best public service. That was from NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. He said that in a statement. In addition to his decades of devoted service in the U.S. Senate, he set the standard for NBA team ownership as a governor of his hometown Milwaukee Bucks for nearly 30 years. He will be deeply missed by his NBA family. Herb Kohl was one of the richest members of the Senate and the Senate's only professional sports team owner. The small market team was in the middle of a 6th straight winning season when Herb Kohl bought the team. The Bucks went on to post winning records in his first 6 full seasons as an owner. Stumbled through the 90s. The team improved in the late 90s and early 2000s. And then eventually he sold the team, obviously, in 2014 to Wes Edens and Mark Lasry, and then contributed $100 million to work construction of the Fiserv Forum. And the arena obviously opened in 2018, and the Bucks won their first championship since 1971. A few years after that, so I think we have to take a moment to honor and respect the legacy of Herb Kohl. I'll say, just again, great man, and you have to give him, one of the lasting legacies of Herb Kohl. He's like we talked about in that article, that Fiserv Forum, maybe there's a potential that the Milwaukee Bucks are not in Wisconsin, or not in Milwaukee, if he doesn't, essentially ensure that by giving a donation of $100 million toward the new arena, and making sure that, I think he had a clause in there as well with Wes Edens and Mark Lashley, that if they sold the team within a certain amount of time, or excuse me, if they tried to move the team, they would have to sell the team, so that they couldn't keep those proceeds, or there was some kind of clause I believe in there, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong. But again, a lot of I guess you just have to give him his praises, give him his flowers, for all that he's done, from the political field, as well as owning the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, 100%, man. Senator Cole, definitely an iconic figure in the Milwaukee area. He was what was he elected to the Senate? I want to say it was like 1988. I think he stepped down in 2012. And one of the admirable things about him is that he said, "Look, it's time, right? This is the people's seat, right? This is the citizens of Wisconsin seat." And he always he thought about, he put the community first in some respects in that case, and that's something that you don't see today, right? Where you got senators who are much older than he was when he stepped down, hanging on to their seats. So man, gotta show him some love here. Prayers for his family. Definitely, we probably do not have Bucks basketball, and I believe he played a role in bringing Bucks basketball. The Bucks come to Milwaukee. It was in 1968. Around that time, I think he did play a role in bringing the team. Right, he didn't own it till 1985, but I think he did play a role in bringing the team to Milwaukee. So man, without the legacy of Herb Cole, you and I aren't sitting here talking to the great people in Milwaukee about this Bucks team. So man, prayers to his family, and rest in peace to Senator Cole.
Absolutely, 100%. So again, yeah, just thinking about him, and again, over holidays and all that, make sure that your loved ones keep them tight, and make sure that again, I just think about this, and again, Senator Cole, was 88 years old, so he lived a long, well-led life, but one of those things that you want to make sure you give people the flowers while they're still here, and respect and honor those people, to that point. Why do I have to do stuff like this? Okay, so
here we go. Oh, here we go. I already know. Here comes the segue. Man, we didn't have nothing to sandwich. Like, we could have went Urkel something, and then we got messy. But here we go. Golly.
I'm sorry, but man, that Christmas Day game, when they why did ESPN keep bringing out Hubie Brown to call games, man? Hubie Brown is 90 years old. You know what? You talked about it, John Tyus, where sometimes you gotta let go of the rope. And you said it's the people's seat. You said the Senate is the people's seat. Well, when you're announcing games and you're broadcasting games, sometimes just let that should be the people's seat too. Because the people should be entitled. And that goes to Steve Novak, too. Let the people have a seat when they broadcast the game. Because nobody wants to hear Steve Novak. I listened to the Yes Network. I think it was Iron Eagle. I listened to Iron Eagle tonight while I listened to the game. Because I can't listen to bad announcers and color commentators. So, again, Hubie Brown. And I'll give you your props and your flowers and your respect. Great for the game of basketball. All the things that he's ever done. Man, 100%. He was a decent broadcaster, I thought, as well. But at this point, I mean, I can't. Well, you can almost watch the games when he's on mute, because he's giving you play-by-play of a play that happened 2 possessions ago, and the game is going on now. I'm sorry. I get it, national treasure, whatever you want to say about him, but I just can't listen to Hubie Brown talk. I just can't do it. Tony Roy asked who's worse, Lisa or Novak. I think it's definitely Novak. But go ahead, JT.
The funny thing about Hubie Brown is, he was an assistant coach for the Bucks, right?
Yeah,
Coach
back in the day.
Alcindor, right? Yeah. Yes, sir. From 1972 to 1974. So, man, little Bucks connection there for Hubie Brown. If our listeners didn't know that, but yeah, man. I mean, I think what Teddy Pendergrass told y'all, I think you better let it go. Right? That's what he said, right? Teddy P, man. And I agree with you, right? I mean, and Hubert Jude Brown is 90 years old, which is impressive.
Right.
That is incredibly impressive, right?
No, it is.
September 25th, 1933. It does seem like sometimes he's just pointing out the obvious. You know, and yeah, look, I mean, you hugging that seat. There's somebody up and coming that maybe has a little more juice, maybe has something a little more different to say, maybe has a little bit more entertainment value. And I think at this point, the best thing to do for somebody like Hubie Brown, man, is, hey, you know what? We're gonna have you in some spots, right? You might get a random February game, right? You might get a random September game. You might
He
get a random
needs
October game, but you can't get
cameos.
prime time. You get
He
that man prime time.
he needs cameos. I give you a quarter. That's what I get. I give you a half. I don't need you for a whole game. Come in and do some of that. Like, he's not Bob Euchre, man. Euchre still got it. And Euchre don't even do all the game. Euchre still got it. This guy just doesn't, man. I can't get away with it. I can't get.
And we do have beef with Steve Novak for numerous reasons, by the way. So when Tony World asked that question about who's worse, Lisa or Steve, yes, it's always the answer is always Steve. You ain't even gotta ask, just know it's always Steve.
Yeah,
trash.
100%. Yeah, like I said, I didn't listen.
Trash. Trash.
You come in
and everybody that played can't call. That's the other thing.
No.
Everybody that played can't call, right? Like everybody that played can't coach. Everybody that played can't call. Y'all got to get to our former players out there. Y'all got to get more creative, man. Y'all got to get more creative. All y'all ain't made for TV.
No, not at all. Not at all. Let's go out some game balls tonight. John Tyus, who gets your game ball from a 144-122 win over the Brooklyn Nets?
So tonight, my game ball is going to Khris Middleton.
Yeah.
27-10. How he played very well tonight. Was efficient. The strong 9 points in the fourth as well. What did he go? What was the final stat line? Yeah, 11 for 18 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3-point land. Hey man, Khris Middleton. I love to see it, right? Because the best thing about tonight was being inspired, seeing that Khris. We can argue that he's back. We can argue that Khris is, he's no longer a shell of himself. Yes, maybe on defense, but again, you don't care that much about defense. Like, get your stops when you need to, and we're gonna be all right. You can win a championship with great offense and okay defense, but you can't win a championship with great defense and okay offense. That's just not the way this league works.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I'm with you there, and I'm gonna give my game ball to your boy Chris. What's his name? Christian James Middleton. What's his name? James Christian.
I don't know.
I thought you said his name. I thought you told me his name was James, wasn't it?
Khris Middleton?
Yeah.
Did I tell you his name?
You always be giving the middle names of people.
I be giving the middles, but I didn't. James Christian Middleton.
Yeah.
He snuck everybody with Chris,
James. Though. Yeah, I'm giving my game ball to James as well.
He shortened the middle name, so he not only going by his middle name, but he shortened
the middle name. Yeah,
took a little bit off that thing. Boy,
I thought Chris, again, he picked his spots well tonight. And again, if you're hitting shots, you're hitting shots. I know Titonia World doesn't like it. He says he's playing on a name as if he's CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum as your number 3 is not bad, though. CJ McCollum as a 3, I'll take it. CJ is a 2, and I don't know. CJ's never had a peak like Khris Middleton's never had a peak, so there you go for that. But again, if you're shooting 11 for 18 from the field, that's 61%, 3 of 7 from 3, hitting your free throws. Again, he had 3. I think all of his turnovers came within the first 13 minutes of action, so he cleaned it up in the second half. Was very efficient. Again, then you add the 10 assists onto it, and you also add that I had him over 12 rebounds, assists tonight, so he got me some money. Yeah, James Christian Middleton, you get my game ball. Had an excellent game tonight, and again, I just appreciated in a 144-122 win in the game where you had your other superstar was not playing up to his self. You had Brook Lopez, who I'm gonna give a break to tonight, but he was bad protecting the paint. I was trying to figure out what is it? Is some of it, the fact that we're allowing straight line drives to the basket, but some of it, Brook just seems like he's jumping late every time. I know he has a guy behind him that he has to account for as well, that he's thinking about when the point of attack defenders are just allowing guys to run freely. So I know he has a lot going on that he has to worry about, and I think a lot of people have talked about the fact that the Bucks maybe play up a little bit too high with their, at the point of attack. So again, a lot of things that the Bucks have to get cleaned up, but Brooks got to deter some more shots. Like tonight was a night where, again, I know guys are getting on him quickly and getting deep on him, but to me, he's got to be more of a deterrent. It seems like sometimes there are certain times when guys get to the basket and get around the basket, and he is not. He's just not a presence. I mean, he's there, but it's almost like he's not. So
True, 100% true, and I will add to that. Brook Lopez shot 6 threes tonight.
too many.
Why?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
are we doing this? Like, why are we doing this? Look, I can't stand it when players have these identity crises, right? Why they literally like Brook Lopez thought he was a shooting guard. Why are you shooting 6 3-pointers? Listen, we all like when Brook Lopez shoots a 3-pointer and it goes in, but we don't need to see 6 of them.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple if you got the look, but 6? Come on, man. Like that's. I mean, how many did Dame shoot? Oh, Dame shot 9. Okay, yeah. Chris shot 7. Beasley shot. Yeah, he shot more than Bobby and Marjon combined, or the same amount as Bobby and Marjon combined. Yeah, and bro, what are we doing? You look awful tonight offensively, awful, and you're better than this. 6 3-pointers. I mean, again, it was just LA Fitness night. That's what it was. Oh man, I'm just gonna play with my left hand tonight, shoot 3-pointers, just kind of keep it pushing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I agree with a lot of that. Yeah, he took a lot of threes. Again, get your butt down the paint. You 7'2". Get down there and play some big boy basketball. Let's look around the NBA. The Bucks obviously won 144-122 over the Brooklyn Nets. The Oklahoma City Thunder winners over the New York Knicks 129-120. The Suns beat the Rockets tonight 129-113. The Cavaliers, interesting score, beat the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Again, Dallas playing with no Kyrie. Luka Doncic put up 39-76. A lot of people think Luka has a case for the MVP of the league, as the Mavericks are 18-12. That's 18, I think. Yeah, 18-12. 113-110. Cavs win. That's going to be the Bucks' next opponent on Friday. And then the Raptors beat the Wizards, and the 76ers beat the Magic. No Joel Embiid tonight. He sat out Christmas and then sat out. Joel Embiid's an interesting guy, too. A lot of people think he's a front run for MVP, but he sat out Christmas Day, as well as Jimmy Butler. So very weird stuff with him. And then I think with Jimmy Butler, it's just I don't know how you just make we ain't you played the night like 2 nights before that you played 30-some minutes and rack up minutes, but you play in the Heat and you got to go against Bam. I don't want I might again. I think a lot of it is I don't want to mess up my averages. Joel Embiid, I just get those are just the vibes I get with Joel Embiid. That's just me though. So I thought that was interesting.
And man, listen, let me, the thing about Joel Embiid, the only reason why I will not give him trouble for sitting is because he is a legitimate injury risk. Let's be real here. As much as he's on that ground, as much as he's he's on the ground all the time. Like, yeah, there's an injury risk with Joel Embiid. Like, yeah, listen, like some of these guys are resting to save their legs, but I can see it if you we're not gonna play him more than X amount of games. We're gonna find ways to rest that man because we know he's gonna be hurt if we don't. So I mean, he's a different guy. Shout out Joel Embiid though. I think his kid is like what, 1 now?
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think his son. Is that right? Is his son like 1 now? Baby mama?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and do your Googles if y'all want.
Oh, I don't know what you're referring to.
I'll talk about his baby mama, but okay.
Okay, I didn't.
Saying, yeah. Hey, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Hey, we going full on Ocho and Shannon?
Yeah,
no, we ain't doing that.
So,
no, we ain't doing that.
Doing a nightcap.
We ain't doing that.
Colin Racine said, like I said a week ago, Lopez had 6 blocks tonight. Lopez has 6 blocks. Did he have 6 blocks? Oh, tonight he let the B squad run him. They don't have consistency. Right, gotcha. And then, like the old fairy tale says, step on a crack, break Joel Embiid's back. Okay. Well, it happened to him.
I ain't heard that in a minute.
Either. It happened to him and Ben Simmons. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just that's just how I feel about him. Did want to get into John, your boy, Jair Alexander for a second. The Green Bay Packers. Let's shift a couple. So I have two. So we talked about Herb Cole. We'll shift 2 stories I want to get into. Then we'll get up out of here. Jair Alexander got suspended for. What do you think about this week? Again, shout out, by the way, to Bryce Young for slicing and dicing that Packers defense. Had a big night, so appreciate y'all guys for giving us that. A little bit of hope in Carolina. But what do you think about Jair Alexander going on the field as a team captain and then posting about it on Instagram and then almost screwing up the coin toss because he said he wanted to kick. Which, by the way, the officials should have given Carolina the ball twice because he said he wanted to kick it. They corrected him and let him actually defer, which is what he wanted to do. But, you know, that's the thing about being the captain. You got to be there for the captain meeting. And if you were there for the captain meeting, you would have known that they probably told all them boys to say defer. So not only did you walk out on the field, and not as a captain, before the game started, so you defied all the orders of Matt LaFleur and your team, but you do that, and then you almost screw up the toss. John, do you have an issue with what Jair Alexander did? Do you have an issue with his comments after the game? Do you have an issue with the Packers suspending him for a game for conduct detrimental?
Man, this dude, you know what? And he has been throughout his career. I get it, top 10 corner, even top 5 some years. Like he, you know, 2-time Pro Bowler. Yeah, you 100% got to put some respect on that. Having said that, this is one of the goofiest things I've seen. How you just go run out? Like it's like at work. You know when you can maybe defy your boss or you have some discretion here. You ain't got no damn discretion to run out there with the captains for the toss. But he just said, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm sure I'm gonna do this. Like, I mean, seriously. And the thing is, I'm convinced, and I'll die on this hill. Y'all can at me if y'all want to talk about this. I'm convinced he's trying to get his way out of Green Bay, and he's showing his behind, right? Especially this year, because here's the thing: this year he has not brought much to the table. He's played 6 games. He's got 22 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 4 passes defense, very few impact plays. You know, right? A lot of times he's looking like just a guy this year. I get it. He's been hurt, been out, but. And, he's got a pretty healthy salary. So for the Packers team, if they just want to go youth movement, I mean, he's not that old. I think he's only 26, right? Might be turning 27 sometime soon, maybe I think in the spring. So, but, yeah, this was silly. And if you're the Packers, you 100% have to. You got to do something. Like, man, we trying to build a team culture. We got a bunch of young guys, and you got, your star player doing some clown stuff. Like, come on, man. Like, hey, listen, my mom always says this too. There's some people, if they ain't bringing nothing else, they're going to bring the audacity. And let me tell you, he has not brought a whole lot this year, but that audacity is real. He bring that each and every single week. The sheer unmitigated gall. Man, this dude, Jair Alexander, is wild. Get him out. Get him out. And after this year, what y'all need to do, if you Green Bay, hey, let's put that man on the block. Let's put that man on the trade block. What you going to do with his salary? Listen, in this league, you need probably 3 good corners anyway. He's a great – if he returns to form, he'd be a great player. But at this point, he's got value. I mean, maybe you look at it, see what you can get for him.
Yeah, I just thought it was incredibly stupid. I thought his answers post-game were stupid. I thought, he just –
I thought a lot of his interviews were stupid. It's just like, bro, and then you're stinking – you're not playing well. Like, what are we doing? Again, told you, ain't bringing nothing but the audacity this year.
Right. Yeah,
man.
And then you go out and then you got a big game against the Vikings Sunday night, and you're not going to be there to help your football team, and then you play
potentially make the playoffs.
So,
make the playoffs.
So, but who's on the other side, John?
Is Justin Jefferson?
Exactly.
Oh wait, is he back?
Yeah,
exactly. Justin Jefferson.
JJ back, and you ain't there to help out. Now, you're not saying that you would have done anything anyway against Justin Jefferson, but you're not out there. You're not in the foxhole with the guys. So yeah, absolutely. If you're that, and that lets you know. That also lets you know how potentially done they are with him. That again, and this wasn't just a one-time thing. You just how this thing goes. You don't get suspended for doing something once. This was a build-up. And this is 100% a build-up. And this is the last straw, and that's why he's gone. Not gone, but that's why you suspend him. And again, kudos to Green Bay for doing it because you can't allow stuff like that to happen. Because you can absolutely lose the locker room. A guy again, it's one thing for you playing at MVP level, Defensive Player of the Year level. You get away with some stuff. You playing the way you play. You playing 6 games in a year, talking crazy in interviews and doing. Yeah, I can't allow you. What they say? There's a lot of times, and this phrase gets used incorrectly. Where a lot of people they say this about police brutality. They say one bad apple, right? But nobody. What's the full saying, John? It ain't just
one bad apple.
One bad apple spoils the bunch. That's the saying. It ain't just that you got a bad apple. The bad apple that you have has the potential to spoil the bunch. And that's what you can't have in your locker room. Everybody
Is
forgets
it
that second part of the saying.
is it? I know you from the. Is it bunch or bushel? I don't know. People
I
be
thought it
putting.
was a bunch.
It's
It's a
like
bushel. It's a bushel, but I,
it's
I heard bunch.
it's like Christmas time, you around your older family, right? And they all talk about, yeah, boy, if ifs were fifths, right?
Ifs were
And some
fists,
people
we'd
say
all be
if
lit.
that's what I'm saying, and some people say if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd
Christmas
all
all
have a
year.
Merry Christmas, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I hear that, right? It's just different variations of it, but it all means the same thing. But I do think that expecting more from Alexander as a leader, like, come on, man. Like, okay, so you weren't picked, so you just run it like. This is almost like Lil Mama when she jumped on stage when Jay-Z and Alicia Keys were
Krishan
performing.
Rock jumping in
Dumb.
stage for
Right.
Tamar Braxton.
This is like, what is that? Like, this is almost that level
Yeah.
stupid. Like, what are you doing? Like, do something with your life. You are clearly bored. You're clearly bored. But I look. I don't think he wants to be here.
Speaking,
I think he up in Appleton, and he's like, man, you know what? I'm good. I want to see something else, right? I think he going to Sizzler and some of these other spots. Is there still a Sizzler up there? Maybe there's not, but you get what I'm saying,
well,
right?
like he said,
Texas Roadhouse, whatever that is.
he said he wanted to be a captain in his hometown, Charlotte. And, hey, man, we might.
Yeah, you want to go somewhere where he can get a haircut?
Well, we might need a corner over in Charlotte too.
You gonna get your haircut in Appleton?
Nah, I wouldn't.
Hell no, you ain't doing that. You ain't getting your haircut in Appleton and Green Bay. I'm not going to no damn barber. I mean, we can't go to Sport Clips. So, like, hell no. I'm not going to.
Well, I get you there. Yeah, so again, that kind of stuff's interesting. Other thing I wanted to get at you with, John, did you see the display from John Morant the other night? You see what he did after he had an alley-oop to seal the game. First off, and John Morant is just coming back from a 25 game suspension. First off, his pops is on the sideline dancing like everything like his son ain't just having 25 game suspension. And then John Morant, they call him John Wick, is over there doing again. And now apparently this is a LSU boys do this dance when they score. But I mean, it's very similar. Like you pulling triggers and you shooting up. Listen, for a guy who came back, and again, I don't know. Again, if it's a dance, I get it. But for a guy who's just come back from a 25 game suspension for having issues with guns and that type of nature, those type of sorts, there's just no way I would do anything that would give the impression or the appearance that I got weapons on me. That's just me though.
Yeah, you got to read the room, Job. But Demetrius not going to do that. He never did. Didn't he put a strap on a 16-year-old allegedly? Didn't Demetrius in that trial going on right now? The trial going on when he pulled a strap on a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And I think that's on the because I saw a clip on Twitter where the lawyer was like, punch me or whatever, was saying something goofy. But yeah, like I remember that. Like, yeah, no, this dude just can't read the room, and some people just can't get out there on the way. I mean,
so for the record, his name is Demetrius Jamel.
Oh, it's Demetrius Jamel. Okay, so we're just all kind of confused here. All right, so Demetrius Jamel. So it's okay. All right. I at least try to give him some credit, like Demetrius, but I think I blended the first and second. Either way, man. If your name is Demetrius and Jamel, I mean, I guess I don't know if I'll go by Ja though. I think I just might go by Jamel.
Demetrius Jamel. Maybe it's pronounced Jamel. Demetrius Jamel.
I'm not.
Jamel, but that's where you go, Ja.
Yeah. Well, you know how black people be putting unnecessary apostrophes and they be capitalizing letters in people's names and everything else. So I don't know what it really looks like on the certificate, but yeah, Demetrius, get it together. But you know what the thing is? At some point he's not. He's just not. And honestly, I worry if he's gonna get in trouble because his daddy boy, his man, T is in the picture, and you love to see a father being supportive of his sons, and you love this. But yo, like if living vicariously through your kid was a meme, oh my god, it is my man. T would sit on the bench if he could. 100%. He 100% would sit on the bench if he could.
Yeah. No, I agree with all that. And again, I respect T for being around 100 because again, the alternatives would be that he wouldn't be around. And I'm not saying you got to be in the background. It's a good thing that he's active, but I just think just when things are going like this, it's probably best to again, it's one thing when everything's going well and you hopping up and you dancing and you do all that. But right now, we talk about John Morant reading the room. T should probably read the room too. Save that for maybe you go sit in the booth until the playoffs hit. And playoffs hit, maybe he's shown for an extended period of time that he can handle being an NBA superstar. And now you show back up sideline night one of the playoffs, something like that. I don't know. That's just me. I just read the room. I just don't know that week back from a 25-game suspension, we up there dancing. Well, I ain't gonna say what I was thinking.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, like, all up in the videos. You know what I mean? All up in the videos, which is a reference to Sean Diddy Combs. Which, listen, for our listeners, y'all don't need to be doing nothing like Sean Diddy Combs at all, allegedly. Yeah, but the one thing I wonder about John Morant is, like, who can talk to him? Because it can't be his dad. It can't be T. If T is ever the voice of reason, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. Like, right? Like, so who can talk to this man? I can't. I mean, what's our man's name? Tony Dungy, right? Maybe Tony Dungy talks to Ja, but I think
I won't get into why I don't like Tony Dungy. I think he's.
I don't rock with Tony either, but
Tony is always Tony's like the token guy to me. That
he's the designated black friend. We got to clean this guy up. Hey, where's Tony at?
Yeah, somebody said the N word. Here comes Tony Dungy to vouch for him. Hey, he's a good guy.
Right. Tony busting out the flip phone. He taking that call.
Yeah, I don't understand the Tony Dungy stuff. But anyway, okay. So it's okay. Good discussion there on John Morant and T. Bucks win at 144, 122 over the Brooklyn Nets. John Tyus, give me your final words. Let's get out of here.
Hey guys, 22-point win over the Brooklyn Nets, right? There's some areas where it could have been better, but take it as an overall good night, man, and welcome back, Khris Middleton, man, welcome back. Game ball, well deserved, and again for the last time, Malik Beasley going 5 for 8. Love to see it. Campaign going. What campaign go 5? Campaign was 5, 6, 3 campaign. Love to see it. Love to see it too, man. Love to see it. There's a lot of firepower on this team. There's a lot to look forward to. A lot of juice. We'll figure out this thing defensively. But again, what's the best defense, Trey?
Another made 3.
Yes, sir.
To Tony World jumps back in and said the South got something to say. That's all I got to say. So okay. But yeah, so I guess I'll finish up again. The 144-122 win over the Brooklyn Nets. Echoing some of those same sentiments about Khris Middleton and Giannis. And again, I just need to see more effort. Like, I'm getting to that point where what a lot of people. I have friends. I'm in a group chat right now with a group of guys who, when they joke when I start talking basketball, when the season starts, I don't start watching till Christmas. So I'm going to say this now. The eyeballs are now about to pick up. For a lot of people, some of the first games they watch in the NBA, and I don't even know because the NFL might have just took over Christmas with what they did to the NBA by playing games on Christmas Day. But to a lot of people, the NBA has just now begun. It's Christmas. During Christmas, you're 30 games in. The NBA has now started. The eyeballs are now on you. These games, I'm not going to say the games are more important, but you're getting to that point where they do become more important when you get to around All-Star break. And so, I get, and I think some of the dog days of the season really hit that, that late, that mid. It's hard to judge, I think, that early February, the 2 weeks leading up to the All-Star break, because I think guys are ready to get on that break. But I'm really watching the month of January for the Milwaukee Bucks because everything flips for them. They've had a bunch of home games. They're now going to have a lot of road games. I think they have 5 or 6 home games in the month of January. So that's going to be a thing. This thing is going to flip, and you're going to play some better teams. A lot of things have been made about strength of schedule and whatnot. But the month of January is when I'm really looking for the Milwaukee Bucks to see how they're going to play. And how they're going to come out performing. Again, I need to see the effort pick up, and again, because it's that time where effort is gonna make a difference. Like if Brooklyn had better players tonight, again, the effort could have been that they very easily could have had a different result. But you're not going to continue to win on talent alone. Sometimes you got to put the effort in. I think Dame's got to put in a much better effort. I think Khris Middleton was good tonight. Giannis continue doing what he does. And then Bobby Portis, I need to see a little more from him defensively. And a lot of these guys. We'll see Jay Crowder hopefully come back beginning of January as well. We'll see what the rotation looks like. So, again, a lot to still be learned from this basketball team. We'll keep it pushing. You say welcome back, Khris Middleton. I say welcome back, Cream City crossover after being out for the last week and a half or so on the Christmas break. Appreciate you guys, listeners, for hanging in there with us, watching in there with us as we jump back into the saddle. We had a great year, 2024, in store from you at the Triple C. Bucks win it 144-122. They come back Friday night against Cleveland. I know I'll be here. JT, you gonna be here Friday night? It's just me.
Yeah, if I'm off the plane, I should be here.
All right, let me know. We'll talk about that. But yes, I will be back Friday night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Bucks gonna be a good one. See if the Bucks can pick that one up. Right back here at the Cream City crossover. Like, follow, subscribe, all of that. From the Guru Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Don't take no wood nickels.